Well, I do think that there's less opportunities for children to engage with nature, especially city children. If I think back to when I grew up in Italy, or even when I came to England, came to Peterborough, and I think of all the little spaces which are now new houses. There's so many back gardens that have had flats built on them, they've been paved over. Nearly every little nook and cranny is almost completely concreted up. And so I think there's less chance for children to interact with wildlife and to interact with nature. Even in the countryside, if you think about it, that's changed. There are no longer pasture fields. You know, you don't need grazing for horses, you don't need oats, you don't need all the hay that we used to have. And so these fields now are more intensively farmed. They're farmed right up to the hedge. Wildlife is becoming rarer, and I think it's becoming more difficult for wildlife even to move around. So it's probably going to be a good thing for, say, an environment city to make a network of ways that wildlife can travel, say, from the river or along by the railway, and to have different places where insects and all different kinds of wildlife can still move around and move across the city. I think that would be really good, and it would engage. You'd get children hopefully coming across more of nature.
Playing outside is difficult because your parents have all sorts of concerns, don't they, about your safety. Sometimes overdone, I think, because I think you should be able to get out by yourselves. But so I do think sometimes you're put in a position that we were allowed to play outside. But as far as wildlife, I think you've got a lot more opportunities because you go out with your parents, don't you? Presumably on outings. In the car.
What do you think of children's opportunities to see wildlife and play outside today?
I think it's disappointing that kids don't have the opportunities that I had as a kid to get outside. It's kind of good and bad. It's good that there are lots of supporting agencies that help kids get outside, but there's elements of parents being worried about kids being outside. My parents, for example, come the weekend, would give me breakfast on Saturday and would not see me till the end of the day on Saturday. I would play outside all day long. It was making dens, it was climbing trees, it was all that kind of stuff. My parents weren't worried about me, and I think parents are slightly worried about the stranger danger and kids being left alone and having an accident and all those things. And I kind of believe that phrase, that music phrase, if you love them, set them free. Kids should be allowed to play outside. Of course they'll sting themselves, of course they'll scratch themselves. They might occasionally get lost for an hour, but it's much better having that kind of child rather than one that's kind of cloistered and protected.
It is so different for them because we used to have to make our own entertainment. Kids today have got computers, they've got laptops, we've got mobile phones, the internet. It is so different to what we had. We used to have to make our own entertainment. All we'd got was our TV and the radio, and that was it. We'd got nothing else. Kids today, I suppose, are lucky, but they're not. How can I put it? I think we were the luckier generation because we used to go out and play more with our friends, where kids today, they're stuck in front of the TV, computers, whatever. So they're stuck indoors more, unless, as you say, you're doing something like we're doing today.